to this A-level Edexcel Buddhism paper 4 anthology work on A.L. Basham's Bodhisattva doctrine. Let's read the section. Before we do, just have a look at this picture in the background. It's a Tibetan Thankra, picture of the 6 realms: life, death, rebirth or redeath, and good karma leading up, bad karma leading down. So you better merit make. You better get good karma, or better still, get someone to give you merit, transfer merit to you. More on that later. Let's read it and we'll see what it says. All creatures are in pain, he resolves. All suffer from bad and hindering karma. So they cannot see the Buddhas or hear the law of righteousness or know the order. All that mass of pain and evil karma I take in my own body. I take it upon myself, the burden of sorrow. I resolve to do so. I endure it all. I do not turn back or run away. I do not tremble. I am not afraid, nor do I despair. So in this, again, remember, this is a sort of 4th century extract, 3rd, 4th century, the Yogacara brothers, what they're saying here. And remember, Basham is trying to point out to you this evolvement, this development of this vow, this Bodhisattva vow. What doctrines are being implied here by claiming all creatures are in pain? Is it true? Does it matter? All creatures are in pain. What can we say about here? Well, the primary doctrine, remember the 3 Lankashars, or the 3 universal truths. Anicca obviously is the first one, but Anicca leads to dukkha. All creatures are in pain. They experience dukkha. Dukkha is the first of the 4 noble truths. It is the second of the 3 universal truths, and it's analyzed. It's broken into 3 types: dukkha, the pain of vipranama dukkha, and dukkha produced by. So dukkha is just ordinary suffering, pain of the body. Vipranama dukkha is suffering caused by change. So that's what's linked with the idea of anicca, when it ceases suffering and good things come to an end. And there's a deeper kind of dukkha as well. But these first 2 are things like the loss. You have a good holiday and it ends. You have hair loss during old age, attachment to certain people who disappear, or certain objects. Your favorite shoes wear out. And in the Buddhist teachings, he says that change must happen. Anicca is just part of life. And what we take as dukkha is, in fact, just anicca. And anicca, change is good, is kind of what's said. The deepest kind of dukkha is this sankhara dukkha. This knowledge, this existential knowledge, everything changes. So the passage continues. What is karma? Let's read this. All suffering from bad and hindering karma. What is karma, and is suffering really caused by bad karma? So yes, there's that 3rd type of dukkha, sankhara dukkha, produced by our awareness of conditional states. Now, dukkha and its types, Hindus, Muslims, Christians would disagree with in a way, because there's much that is pleasurable in life. The love of God is a good thing to have. There's much that is permanent, that isn't anicca. The soul is that way. But what is karma, and is suffering really caused by bad karma? So in the Buddhist tradition, it's all about overcoming hindrances. It's all about this. You haven't realized your true state. You're in a state of delusion or ignorance or something like that. So there's something keeping you. That's the idea. The Buddha named his son Rahula, meaning ball and chain. We just have to figure out what it is that's stopping us from being all that we could be. And what developed was a complicated series of kind of things that stop us at different levels that get more and more subtly difficult to get rid of. So the first level is stuff related to our physical life, our sensory desire. We want pleasure. For most people, this is the thing that hinders us. We're hedonists. We like pleasure and desire. We're attracted by the five senses of sight, smell, touch, physical feeling, and the pleasant senses that come from it. But there is a second kind of hindrance, which is ill will. We want to reject, we don't want to feel hostility. We don't want to be the object of resentment, hatred, and bitterness. Or if we ourselves develop these things, we develop ill will, then that is a hindrance. That becomes a hindering on the karma. You dive deeper into this, and sloth and heaviness of body and mind, dullness of mind, drag you down. Obviously, if you're that way, then you can't meditate, you can't chant or anything else of Buddhist devotional practice. Dullness of the mind is disabling. It creates inertia. Remember, Bhikkhu Bodhi talked about mindfulness and meditation require effort, and as would Mahayana would agree. A fourth, deeper level yet is restlessness and worry. Who doesn't worry about stuff? Now, worry presumes a false belief about the way the world is. It's an inability to calm the mind. Remember, both Theravada and Mahayana support this Samantha meditation, this calming of the mind that is necessary. But there's this deepest kind of hindrance, doubt, particularly doubt, it has to be said, for Mahayana, in the Mahayana perfection of wisdom, lack of conviction or trust in the supreme wisdom of Mahayana as the perfected wisdom, better than Theravada. Now, it has to be said, karma, as an AO2 comment here, is an idea steeply resisted in the Jewish and Christian worldview and in the Islamic worldview, which are linear and not cyclical. There's no rebirth. There's no cycle of birth, death, and rebirth with an impersonal kind of universe that's organizing where we end up next. No, there is a personal deity, an ultimate that is, given to man once to die and then to face the judgment, the Bible says. And it only happens after death in the spiritual realm, whereas judgment kind of happens in this life because of what's happened in a previous life. So we crack on. What does it mean to say they cannot see? They cannot see. Well, is this the influence of Christianity? Think about Jesus. Jesus, they're like a sheep without a shepherd. They have ears but don't hear, eyes but do not see. Christianity is full of this language of a lack of perception, a lack of insight. Why did Jesus tell parables? So that there were some who would see and some who would not see. Ever seeing, they're never perceiving, he said of the Pharisees. Is this, as Basham has been arguing, perhaps the influence of Christianity on Buddhism? And then lastly, what's being vowed here? I take upon myself the burden of sorrow. And so it goes on. I resolve to do so. I endure it all. I do not, etc., etc. Well, here we have again this language, this savior language. We're talking 4th century. Has Christianity influenced Buddhism here? It's very early still, but it's possible. Is this just that it's a myth that is grown up separately to Christianity? Is this Bodhisattva theory influenced by the saving idea of Jesus? Well, what we can see here is a development of the 8,000 verses, and particularly the large or 25,000 line sutra, into the much more this vow, this language of the vow. But it's not quite there in full. It's getting there. It's pretty much there in full. So these 5 hindrances perhaps is key learning. That Buddha called his son Rahula, meaning fetter, ball and chain. That the idea is that there are things in this life that prevent us from reaching the goal of Buddha nature, or localized Nibbana, Nirvana, or compassionate mind, or more recently interbeing, or in Theravada just enlightenment. That it's been systematized, analyzed, and there are gradual steps to overcoming them. Well, is it gradual or is it sudden? There's an argument. All right, that's that section.